Hello friends, Christine with Mama Bear Does It here, and today we are going to be doing the winter sowing method, which is also known as milk jug gardening. I discovered this method from a friend that I babysat for, and I saw that she had milk jugs hanging out in her raised garden beds. It was winter time, and I said, hey, what's all about that? And she told me to look it up on YouTube, and I looked it up. I decided to try it last year. It worked amazingly for my garden. I grew everything from seed last year. I did not buy a single mature plant at the gardening store or Lowe's, and it actually saved me a lot of money, and I had a very high yield, high output from my garden last year. So I'm gonna show you how it's done. The first thing that you wanna do is gather all of your materials. So you're gonna need probably at least one bag of potting mix, and it is very important that you start off with potting mix. You don't want to use gardening mix because you want to make sure that you have really good drainage, because you don't want your roots to rot or freeze. So make sure that you definitely starting out with potting mix. I'm actually using 2 bags because I'm going to be doing a lot of planting. I also have some houseplants that I need to repot. One of them actually hulked itself out of its current pot and broke it. So I need to replant that one. You're gonna need a good pair of scissors, a couple of Sharpie markers so that you mark your stuff and you know exactly what you planted. You can also use duct tape, masking tape. I have painter's tape today, and I'm gonna use this because I used duct tape last year and I had a really hard time actually opening up the milk jugs. Even though that this is painter's tape and you wouldn't think it's very strong, it actually is pretty strong. So it will be strong enough to keep your milk jugs together. And then you're gonna need just as many clear milk jugs as you want. The solid white ones will not work. They need to be kind of the frosted type that you would get your milk in, or distilled water, drinking water, because you need at least some sun to be able to penetrate in here. And what this is gonna do is this is gonna act kind of like a terrarium. You wanna take all of the lids off. Do not leave the lids on here because you need to be able to generate a little bit of moisture. So these are kind of gonna be like self-watering, which is the cool part. That's what makes them foolproof, because if you forget to water them or you go out of town for a week, your plants aren't gonna die. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your scissors and you are going to cut around about 2 inches from the bottom, and you wanna leave it connected where the handle is at. See that? So that you're kind of making like Mr. Pac-Man out of a milk jug. So you're gonna cut all the way around, and then you're also gonna cut some drainage holes. So you want a couple of drainage holes on the side. So I have 2 here, and then you want 4 on the bottom. So if you can see these, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just use that. Use your really good pair of scissors to do that. So I'm gonna show you what that's gonna look like right now. So I've got my milk jug. I'm gonna go just a little bit up from the bottom, and I'm gonna basically use this almost like a screwdriver, and this plastic is very thin, so it's gonna work pretty easily, but you wanna be careful that you don't cut yourself. So I basically just made a hole, and I'm gonna cut around.
I popped it. I'm getting popped.
So I cut all the way around, and then I stopped towards the handle, okay? This makes it easy to pick up. And then you're gonna do some drainage holes. So I'm gonna make sure that I have at least 2 slightly up on the side, so that if the ones on the bottom get clogged by soil, it can still drain and I don't have anything pooling to the point where it's gonna make my roots rot. And then you're gonna do, so you have these little quadrants, you're gonna do 4 holes at the very bottom. So you're gonna use it just like you would a screwdriver. And of course, you know, you could probably use a pocket knife for this. You could even use, I've seen many, this probably is a lot easier before you cut it, but I've seen a lot of men who will do this with an actual power drill, but the milk jug plastic is very thin, so it's just as easy to use a good pair of scissors. And the holes don't have to be huge. Just be careful. These are brand new kitchen scissors, so I'm trying to be very, very careful. Okay, and that's it. You got your 4 holes. And then what you're gonna do is you are going to fill this bottom part up with your potting soil and then put your seeds in. You wanna make sure that it's nice and wet. You need very, very wet potting soil. So do that, make sure that it's very full, and then you will close your Mr. Pac-Man, and then you're gonna tape around this side, and then you can mark whatever it is and just set this on your porch, your patio, wherever you're gonna get, you know, full sunlight, come up, they're gonna germinate and they're gonna grow. And then when you're ready, you just take the tape off and pop this out, and then all of your plants are gonna be ready to go. I'm using the winter sowing milk jug method, which is pretty much foolproof. So at this point, I am gonna start some of my colder crop stuff. So any type of lettuce or cabbage is good to start in colder weather. So I have spinach that I'm going to attempt to try to grow. I have failed every other year that I've tried. I have green cabbage that did not do so well this year. Maybe I started a little late. So I'm gonna do green and purple cabbage. And then I'm also gonna do bok choy. This stuff grew like bananas last year. It grew very, very well and very, very quickly. So I'm thinking by April, I will probably have a decent crop to pick. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start my parsley. This is the one thing I could not get to grow last year. I don't know if it's because it was a little too warm, but I'm gonna give this another try, and I might even actually move it inside if it doesn't seem like it's liking growing outside. So we'll see how this does. All right, so you've got your Mr. Pac-Man milk jug. You're gonna do your potting soil. That should be pretty full. Because you don't want your seeds to get buried too deep in there. And I like to wet mine first. Otherwise, I feel like the seeds are just gonna get packed way down in there. So you really want to start off with some nice wet potting soil. And that is not according to me, that is according to the people that I learned this from. All right, so we are going to plant our green cabbage seeds. And sometimes I don't exactly do these perfectly because I know that I'm going to thin them out and I'm going to put them, these are teeny, 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 tiny. I know that I'm gonna end up spacing these out anyway and thinning them out. I'm just gonna do a couple of those and save the rest. And then I'm gonna put a thin layer of potting soil on top.
What is that, Mommy? What is that? What is that, Mommy?
I'm planting, honey. Just a little bit more water. And you're gonna close your Mr. Pac-Man.
Can I help? Can I help?
You wanna hold the milk jug in place for me? Nope, hold it in place. Here, you hold the tape right there, okay? Hold the tape right there. And then you're just gonna go around.
Where's water?
I already put water in it, baby. I usually use 2 to 3 pieces. 2 to 3 pieces should be plenty.
You put some water.
I already put water in it. All right, and then this is our, we're gonna write on here, this is our green cabbage. And there you go. And this tape, you know, it's not filled with water, so it's definitely, the tape's strong enough that you can just grab this and take it to your garden when it's ready to be planted. You just put this in a sunny spot, and in a couple of weeks you'll be ready to go. All right, this took me about an hour, and I went a little overboard. So I have basil, bok choy, green beans, pumpkin, zucchini, watermelon, green cabbage, parsley, cucumber, basil, purple cabbage, spinach, bell pepper, spinach again, and
Thanks for
carrots.
watching. Happy planting.